Today we are pleased to have with us for our Fethiye Talk, Sine and Colin. Welcome.
Hi.
Please guys, introduce yourself a bit.
Okay, well I'm Sine, obviously. This is Colin. I'm originally from a small island off the west coast of Scotland called the Isle of Skye, and then nearly 20 years ago we moved to Fethiye, which is where we now call home.
Yes, it was.
Who are you?
I'm Colin, and I met this young lady when I was in nursing, and I went to the Isle of Skye to set up a service for people with multiple handicaps. And I went to visit one of the schools, and there this teacher caught my eye, put it that way. Sina was going to be doing a radio program with me called Saturday Club, and we were known as Wise and Otherwise. Anyway, we did that for 3-4 weeks. We eventually came to Inverness. We realised that something was missing. So we started going on holiday to this place called Turkey. And one evening we sat on the front at Chalish, and we looked and we saw the sea and we saw the mountains, and we said, this is like being at home. My job came to an end as I neared retirement, and we said, right, the only thing we can do is sell up everything so that we've got nothing to run back to and move to this country. We knew quite a few Turkish people in the area, and one particular person said that we could use his apartment until we got sorted out. So we did that, and we stayed in Chalish for 3 months. The only time we've ever stayed in a mixed community of Turkish and non-Turkish people. We then met up with a chap who was going to build us a house. And so we invested all our savings to this man, he disappeared, the money disappeared, and we suddenly found that Turkish people are tremendous. This guy was bad, but we had so many Turkish people who supported us. We can't run back, we're here, we're going to see it through. And that's what we did, and we started a journey then with our son, which has been exciting, challenging, but very, very rewarding.
I would like to ask you, what was Fethiye like when you first arrived here?
Very different to what it is now. It was much smaller.
The High Street wasn't the High Street.
Yeah, the Chalish High Street was amazing because it was full of sort of bamboo roofed little shacks. It was a track, and I remember we were, at the time they decided to improve it, that we were actually living there and we were watching these people sort of taking away a lot of the character of the place, much as they've done with a large part of Fethiye, because now with the Meydan, the cordon, all of those have changed beyond recognition. The Meydan used to have lots of ramshackle buildings, but ramshackle buildings that had character. The people who worked in them had character. The cordon was, it was a track, but the way you met people, and yes, I would say now where they have put the grass areas where the Turkish people meet in the evening and have their picnics, that's brilliant. That is a really, really good thing that's happened. But the place like the Meydan, the one part of Fethiye that still hasn't changed is the Paspatur. And we really keep everything crossed that they don't change it too much, because it's still got that wonderful character and feeling that a lot of Fethiye doesn't have anymore.
It's commercialised, really.
Yes.
It's been aimed more at visitors, tourists, than it has taken into account the people who live here.
The most interesting thing you've seen in Fethiye so far?
I was driving up to Overchik, and as you know, there's a very steep hill that goes up to Overchik. I'm driving up and there was a vehicle in front of me, nothing very interesting about that, except I could see 2 legs sticking out at right angles to the car. from the back, from
Legs.
the legs. The end, like from the knees down, there were legs sticking out at this angle. The car's going this way, the legs are this way. So I'm like, oh, this is okay. This is Turkey. Okay, so I decide that I have to find out, but also I need to get past because it was going very, very slowly. So as I drew level, I could see that in the back of the car was a fridge freezer. So the fridge was much heavier than the car. So the car would have been like this. So this Turkish man had come up with a very good idea, and he had put his wife across the front of the car, and she was lying on the what we call the bonnet of the car, balancing so that the car was not was not going on two wheels, it was still on four. And honestly, some people say, Sheena, no, you were dreaming. I was not dreaming. I drove, and how I didn't crash, because I'm driving up going like this, but it worked. I mean, it was so funny. And it was, yeah, it's always stuck in my head, and that was many years ago, but it's stuck.
When we first started talking about doing Scottish celebration nights, we got to know Mustafa Schickman very well, and we would walk down the street with him and everybody was going like this to him. It's amazing, the respect.
And respect for families that are important.
One thing about Fethiye, the tourists are rarely told.
Right.
Turkish events.
I don't think that the tourists that come to Turkey are always told about the wonderful events that are on in Fethiye. So, for example, at the amphitheatre, at the Blue Building, there are many events that happen there which are 100% Turkish. But we've been to several, and you will never see anybody, very, very few Yabanji or ever tourists, because they don't know these things are on. Maybe tourists are need to be told to do their homework before they come.
For example?
Respect for culture. Walking through the market in a bikini is not appropriate. Walking into a restaurant without your shirt on, getting onto a dolmush soaking wet and somebody else has to sit on the seat after you. If you want to be accepted and for tourists to be seen as a positive thing, then please, try and, as I said, do your homework. See what is appropriate in a country.
We came out here with a strong Christian faith. We knew that we were going to be challenged. We've never been challenged. Our neighbours said, where do you go on a Sunday every week? We're going to church. Oh, and they were so pleased. These are people. The religion, whatever, comes second. They're people first.
What has been the biggest challenge of living in Fethiye, and what has been the best part?
I suppose not just Fethiye, but Türkiye is learning the language. Learning the language is a challenge, but it's a challenge that I think most people should try to meet, because you don't have to become fluent. You only have to learn even the basics, and you will find that Turkish people will A, appreciate it, and B, help you. And we come from the UK, and we can honestly say that people in the UK are really lazy about learning another language. They expect everybody else to learn English. The best part? We've lived in very Turkish communities. No matter what happens, somebody will knock on your door and bring you something, whether it's Aşık or it's Kurban Bayram and they come with meat, or as Colin he fell down the stairs one day at home, ended up in hospital, got home from hospital. Next thing, we have soup being brought round. We have the neighbours making sure. These are the kind of things you can't buy, and we feel safe. And from a female perspective, going out at night, walking, it's fine.
Yeah, we've always said we don't have any problems. We have challenges. When we'd moved here, and Ulash, our friend, he came up to see us, and he went over into the kitchen and he opened up the fridge. I said, "What are you doing? Let's just see what you've got in the fridge because I can have what I want." Sorry? And from that we learnt very much that your home is an open home. And if you've got something that somebody else needs, wonderful. You know, our fridge is open to anybody if it's working. The one thing that does worry me is that with all the progress, if you want to call it progress, that's going on in this area, the all-inclusive hotels and things like that, how long is it going to be before the traditional Turkish customs disappear? The Fethiye that we know is a wonderful place. The Fethiye that the builders and developers and many councillors see is something that's going to bring in lots of money. That isn't what the village should be about.
Would you like to share your happiest memory about living here?
A few years ago, we decided that it would be a good idea to share a bit of Scottish culture, because we found that Turkish people seem to be really welcoming of Scottish culture. They seem to go, "Oh, you're Scottish. Oh, yes, right, okay." And it was normally football related, but anyway. So we thought, okay, what can we do? So the first thing we did was we established a Scottish dance group, which is still going. And on the back of that, a friend in Scotland, she organised a group of musicians from the west of Scotland. We had a piper, as Yabanji, we couldn't do this. So we then got in touch with Mustafa Shikman, who was a member of the Fethiye Rotary Club. So they said they would put their name as the organisers, but actually it was us. It was a really magical evening because we had, I don't know how many nationalities. We were very fortunate to have the representations from the Belediye. That was the start of 7 years of Burn Suppers. But each of those was to raise money for a local cause. Turkey has given us a lot, and we wanted to give something back.
We brought over two pipers from Scotland to play here, and they played up in the castle, so you could hear it right over Fethiye. They did a walk through the Passepartout, playing the pipes, and that was just beautiful. And then we did the Grand March. Well, at the same time, the Fethiye Town Band, and they were dancing, and I thought everything has come to life because two cultures have come together.
Have you ever felt lonely while living here?
Short answer?
No.
No.
But if you cut yourself off and just go for your English-speaking communities, then I would think it could be very easy to be lonely.
What is the most Turkish habit you've picked up since living here?
Tamam.
Not
Everything is
standing in a queue.
Yes.
That's a bad one.
I'm sorry, but I don't queue anymore.
We don't queue.
I don't queue.
Nope.
You know, British people love to queue. They do. They stand in a nice formal line and they wait. Well, if you do that here, you will never either see anyone or go anywhere. I went in and there was a lot of Turkish people standing in the doorway. So I thought, okay. And I went straight in. I spoke to the secretary. I said to Colin, we have an appointment in 5 minutes. Let's just wait. But if you queue, I'm sorry, you get nowhere.
Forget.
Yes, so I don't queue.
Yes, these shopping trolleys.
You wouldn't be seen dead with one of those in the UK.
Oh, no.
No. Going shopping with it, your granny did that. Not, and everybody here uses them, so yes.
We love them.
Yeah.
Guys, are you still paying the tourist price?
No.
No, never have.
No, we haven't.
No. It works on one of the stalls in the market. And every time we go there, once I went there and he gave me 50 lira too much in change. And I was looking, thinking, no. So I gave it back to him. Now, from that point on, we've never paid even for normal price. We pay less than.
But I also know that traders are very good at spotting Yabanji. And for some of them, they look at a Yabanji and they see a big bag of money sitting over their head. and they think, okay, we're going to try.
What do you think local people don't appreciate enough here?
They don't appreciate their own country. They can't see, and they will never see, and unless they travel. But I don't think they will ever really appreciate what a beautiful country they live in. My goodness, it's beautiful. There's so much to see. It's got history. It's got everything. But Turkish people, like we've said, when you leave your own country, you never appreciate what's there until you've left it. And I think because it's difficult for a lot of Turkish people to travel, and especially at the moment with the way the economy is and everything, which is really hard, they can't appreciate. But I would also wish that they wouldn't drop litter everywhere, because it's the one thing that is, it's not nice. They tend to not be terribly careful, and I think that's because they don't have an appreciation for how beautiful the country is.
What is your favorite Turkish word?
Kesinlikle.
Alfie Dawson is one that I love, only because to me I always heard it sound like an Irishman, Alfie O'Dawson, and it sort of stuck because I know an O'Dawson, an Irishman. So Alfie O'Dawson is an Irishman.
He came home one day and he said to me, "Who is this Irishman that everybody keeps talking about?" And I'm like, "I don't know, who is he?" He went, "There's somebody called Alfie O'Dawson that they all..." I said, "No dear, it's Alfie Dawson." And he went, "Oh, I see."
Do you have any word for the people from Fethiye? Last word.
Last word.
Don't lose the culture of Fethiye. And that really is what it's about. Don't let it be worn away by technology, by commercialism. Keep what Fethiye stands for and stood for.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.